The house sold for $940,000. After realtor fees, closing costs, and the usual deductions, the estate cleared roughly $800,000, meant to be split evenly between my sister Victoria and me. $400,000 each. That was 6 months ago. The money was supposed to sit in the estate account while probate cleared. Victoria was the executor. She had the paperwork, the passwords, the authority. I trusted her to handle it like family. Then the calls started. First, a puzzled voicemail from the estate attorney asking for missing documentation. Then the bank calling to verify large transfers that didn't look right. Then Victoria called me herself, voice tight with something I couldn't name, anger or panic. "We need a family meeting this weekend," she hissed. "Everyone must be there." "What about?" I asked. "You know what it's about, Melissa. Don't play innocent." She hung up before I could say more. The meeting place was Uncle Robert's living room, big enough for everyone and neutral enough to feel official. By the time I arrived, they were already seated. Victoria sat dead center like a chairperson, folder on her lap. Greg, her husband, stood behind her with his arms folded. Their boys hovered close, eyes wide. Uncle Robert, Aunt Linda, cousins, even Dad's brother, the man we barely spoke to, filled the other chairs. They faced one empty spot reserved for me as if this were a tribunal. "Melissa," Victoria said as I walked in. "Sit." The room felt heavy, like the air itself waited for whatever she would say. Faces ranged from puzzled to sharp with accusation. I sat, watching her open that folder with slow, careful movements. "I called you because we have a serious problem," she began, measured and rehearsed. "The estate account, the house sale money, $800,000. It's gone." A murmur rippled through the room. Uncle Robert leaned forward. "Gone how?" "Transferred out," Victoria said, voice steady. "Over the past 3 months." She tapped papers, pretending to be stunned by the evidence. "According to the bank, the transfers were authorized by someone with access." Aunt Linda blinked. "But you're the executor. You had access." "I do," Victoria said, looking past her hands. "But I'm not the only person with access." She turned her gaze to me. "Melissa also has access. I added her 3 months ago to make everything transparent." That hit me cold. "You added me?" I said. "I never received anything. I never signed a form." "You did," she snapped, and then, with theatrical calm, pulled out a sheet. "Here's the bank authorization form, your signature right at the bottom." I stared at it. The letters looked familiar but wrong. I had never seen that paper before. "That's not my signature," I said. "The bank accepted it," Victoria said. "They processed transfers, 20,000 here, 50,000 there, until the whole 800,000 was moved to an offshore account that can't be traced." Her voice hardened. "And their records show your credentials were used to authorize them." The room turned on me in slow motion. Faces that had been neutral now tightened into suspicion. "Melissa, why would you do this?" Uncle Robert asked, bewildered. "I didn't do this," I said. "I never touched that account." Victoria leaned forward like a prosecuting attorney. "Your business has been struggling. Everyone knows that," she whispered, steering the room toward consensus. "You had motive. You had access. You forged authorization and siphoned the money out in pieces so no one would notice until it was too late." Greg muttered something about convenience and hacking. People nodded, quick to accept the tidy explanation. My stomach twisted. Their doubt felt like cold fingers. Jason, Victoria's older boy, stood up red-faced. "You stole our inheritance!" he shouted, voice breaking. "You ruined everything." He pointed at me like he'd been given a role to play. Greg tried to quiet him, but his hand was weak. Marcus, the younger boy, started to cry. Victoria drew them in close, smoothing hair and whispering comfort while her eyes glittered with a small, fierce triumph. She'd assembled the room, rehearsed the narrative, and now watched the words do their work as everyone piled on. The insults came like a wave. "How could you? Shame on you." "Thief." Their voices rose and overlapped until the room sounded like a courtroom attacking a defendant. I could feel my face go hot, then numb. Victoria sat back and smiled slightly, the hint of victory at the corner of her mouth. She'd done it, presented the problem, pointed the finger, and handed the family a target. I pulled my phone out, pretending not to care that my hands trembled. The noise around me swelled. Few noticed. I opened the voice recorder app and hit record. Then I pressed play. Victoria's own voice filled the room. Clear, clipped, undeniable. Yes, I need to make another transfer. Account ending in 7834. 50,000 to the Cayman account. Same one as before. Authorization code, Victoria Thompson. Executive ID 2847. Silence slammed down. The recording continued. The same voice, different dates, different amounts. 7 separate clips, 7 transfers totaling 800,000. Each file was unmistakably her. Tone, pauses, authorization phrases she used in the meeting. Every clip ended with the same calm directions, the same account numbers, the same yes. When the last file faded, the room stayed frozen. The accusation that had floated so easily a minute ago hovered like a bad smell, and then collapsed under the weight of what they'd just heard. Victoria's color drained. Her triumphant smile died on her lips. "Where did you get that?" she whispered, panic finally breaking her practiced composure. "From the bank," I said. When the estate attorney called about missing funds, I requested the transaction records 2 weeks ago. The bank supplied recordings of the authorization calls, standard for large transfers. "They keep them on file," her hands fluttered. "Those are fake. You doctored them." "You think I would fake 7 separate recorded authorizations?" I asked. "We can call the bank right now. They'll confirm every recording, every transfer, every authorization code that only you as executive would have." Greg was staring at his wife. "Victoria, it's fake," she repeated, but her voice was shaking. "Melissa is framing me." I pulled up my email on my phone and turned it to face the room. Here's the email from the bank sent 12 days ago. 7 audio files attached. Authorization recordings, 4 transfers totaling $800,000. All made by Victoria Thompson, executive of the estate. I swipe to the next screen and here's the account trace. The offshore account in the Cayman Islands. Account holder, Victoria Thompson, opened 3 months ago. Current balance, $796,000. She's already spent $4,000. Uncle Robert stood up and took my phone, scrolling through the documents. His face darkened. "This is real." "It's not," Victoria started. "I can see the bank letterhead, the official seals." "Melissa, can you forward this to me?" "Already done. I sent copies to you and the estate attorney this morning." Aunt Linda was staring at Victoria in horror. "You stole the money from your own mother's estate. I was going to pay it back. I just needed it temporarily." $800,000. Greg's voice was dangerous now. "Temporarily. We have expenses. The boys' school. Your mother's medical bills were more than we said. I had to. You had toe steel." Uncle Robert's voice was hard. "From your sister. From your own family?" Victoria's composure cracked. "You don't understand. Everyone expects so much from us. The executive. The responsible one. The one who has it all together. We couldn't afford it. Any of it. But everyone expected. So you stole Mon's money," I said quietly. "And then you set up this whole meeting to blame me. You forged my signature on bank documents. You invented a story about me needing money. You coached your sons to attack me. You turned the whole family against me so no one would suspect you." That smirk was gone now. Victoria looked desperate. "It wasn't supposed to be like this. I was going to replace the money. I had a plan. An offshore account in the Caymans. Greg said that was your plan to replace the money? I needed time, and I couldn't have Melissa asking questions, so I had to. You had to frame her," Uncle Robert finished. "You had to make everyone think she was the thief so you could keep the money." Jason was staring at his mother. "Mom, you lied to us." Victoria reached for him. "Baby, I can't explain. You said Aunt Melissa stole from us. You made us yell at her. I had to make it convincing." "You used your own children," Aunt Linda said, disgusted. "You made them cry and scream at their aunt, knowing you were lying the whole time." Marcus was crying again, but differently now, confused and betrayed. Greg took the boys and moved them away from Victoria. "Get away from them, Greg, please. You stole from your family. You framed your sister. You used our sons. Get away from them." Victoria looked around the room. Every face that had been angry at me was now turned on her. Uncle Robert had his phone out already calling someone, probably the estate attorney. "The police will need to be involved. He said $800,000 is grand larceny. Wire fraud is she used electronic transfers. Possibly embezzlement since she was the executive. Robert, please." Victoria said, "I'm family. You stole from family. You framed family. That changes things." Victoria turned to me, her eyes pleading. Melissa, we're sisters. We can work this out. I'll pay it back every penny. Just don't press charges. You called a family meeting to destroy my reputation. You forged my signature. You turned everyone against me. You used your children as weapons. And you smirked while they cursed me. I was desperate. You were victorious. I saw your face. You were enjoying it, Uncle. Robert finished his call. The estate attorney is contacting the bank to freeze the Cayman account. He's also filing a report with the police. Victoria stood up. I need to leave. Sit down, Greg said. You're not going anywhere. I need my lawyer. You definitely need a lawyer, but you're not leaving this room until the police gather. She sat back down, no longer in the center position of power, isolated. Everyone had moved away from her. The family meeting continued, but the agenda had changed. Instead of condemning me, they were cataloging Victoria's crimes, gathering evidence, making calls. I sat in my chair, the one that had felt like an interrogation seat, and watched my sister unravel. Jason came over to me. Aunt Melissa, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I know you did it. She told us you stole everything. She made us practice what to say. She said we had to make everyone believe you were bad. It's not your fault. But I yelled at you. I called you a thief. Your mother put those words in your mouth. He was crying. Is Mom going to jail? I looked at Victoria, who sat alone in her chair, her victorious smirk replaced by fear and desperation. I don't know, I said honestly, but what she did was serious. Very serious. The police arrived 30 minutes later. 2 officers who took statements from everyone. They reviewed the bank recordings on my phone and photographed the forged signature on the bank documents.